Anna's an incredible front-end developer. She works at Hactar, which is focused on like tech for good. We had a really great chat the other day. She's already got 11 years of professional experience. Started off working on fan sites, which is how I know that she's also a fellow fan of the Rasmus. Had to squeeze that one in. But we don't have any time to burn, so I'm just going to let her get on with it.
Oh, wow. I'm so impressed. That's like one of a song title. I'm like, oh my God.
She's going to demonstrate that she's not like the other girls with some fun experiments with the web speech API. So thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all sponsors, and thank you for RJSG Girls for inviting me to come over this evening. I am going to try, I know we're a bit behind, so I'm going to speak as fast as possible. So today I want to unlock fun experiments, and we are going to be exploring the web speech API to do so. So a little bit about me. Thank you so much, Beth, for the introduction. I work as a front-end developer at Hactar. We are a tech for good agency, and I spend most of my free time on my blog. I don't have any other hobbies. I also am a very keen member of the indie web community. The indie web community is about promoting the idea that you should have your own personal website, and I love that idea. That's all I'm about. I've written about it in the past. You can read my articles on Smashing Magazine, for example. And for this talk in particular, I need to highlight that I do not represent any browser vendor. I'm just hanging out. And I haven't been to karaoke since before the pandemic, so I'm out of practice. And I'm a big fan of the Rasmus. I'm not a stan, I'm just a fan. And it's because of them that I'm here. So I had a problem that I needed to fix. So whenever I went karaoke, they only had In the Shadows available, which is like a top tier song, but it's not my favorite, and I needed more. And I figured out, like, okay, so I could build my own karaoke. I could pull up the instrumentals, pull out the songs, and do my own party, etc. And then my brain started like, woo, what if we had more than just lyrics on the screen? What if we could gamify the experience? Because I know I would win. I know all the lyrics from my heart. That's why I was like, oh my gosh, Beth, oh my gosh. You bring up like song titles from my favorite album, Dead Letters, 2003. So I looked up speech to text. And I came across a bunch of private companies, which is great. Like nowadays, if you want to like pay someone or pay a product to annotate what you're saying, there's a bunch of companies that will offer that service to you. But I know we have something for free in the browser. So let's talk about the web speech API, and in particular, the web speech recognition. So the web speech API is split into two, the web speech API and the speech synthesis. And it's starting to get really obvious where I'm going to go with this. But in particular, the web speech API was developed so that it would give the ability to developers to allow people to submit dictation into form inputs and to allow specific control for people to navigate in web pages. In fact, there's a very, very old yet super interesting draft on how this API was envisioned to work in forms, and you should have a look because it gives really, really nice examples on how you can actually make the web more accessible. Yeah, so it's not built for karaoke. However, here's a fun note. So on MDN, you can read a note that says, on some browsers like Chrome, using the speech recognition on a web page involves a server-based recognition engine. Your audio is sent to a web service for recognition processing, so it won't work offline. So here's a quirk. It won't work offline. You can't like spin it up locally unless you are connected, unless you are online. And fun enough, it also needs HTTPS to work. So if your spinning a local server is not enough, you have to like something that I couldn't figure out how to do, which is like to get the whole local to do HTTPS so that it works. But it's not the end of the world. We can work with this. Safari gives you a similar warning. The first time you experiment with this API in Safari, it will tell you, speech data from this app will be sent to Apple to process your requests. This will also help Apple improve its speech recognition technology. So the websites you visit may access speech recognition. So it is learning from what you're giving to the browser. You say OK, and then you never see this ad ever again. It's done. So what is the speech recognition support in our browsers? So it currently does not work in Firefox. And it's starting to look a bit obvious on the why. If you think about it, other browsers, they are big corporations, they're part of big corporations. So they have a lot of data that they can train on, and they also have all the servers and the facilities to process that data. Safari works in a bit on a different level, but in the end of the day, I don't represent any browser, and this is based on what I'm looking up and reading online. However, there is an incredibly interesting thread on the Mozilla standard positions where they discuss on why it's not in the browser yet. It includes privacy concerns, it includes a bunch of things that are incredibly interesting if you want to know how browsers make the decisions they do in regards to browser APIs. So if this is a topic you're interested in, have a look. So I had a change of heart. I'm not going to do the demo right now. I want to walk you through my thinking process. I'll go back to the demo after this. So let's envision a karaoke thing. We don't have to have design skills because anything you do will be better than your local bar. So let's start with a simple purple gradient and a start and stop at the bottom because, browser API quirks. You'll have your controls, it'll start, it'll stop, and I added the real-time transcription so that you can see that I'm not cheating. And we'll load our audio, and we'll load our lyrics and our whole JavaScript file, whatever it is. And bear in mind, I'm showing snippets because otherwise it's a lot. So we'll initiate the speech recognition. Depending on the browser you're using, you might need to have different types of initiation bits. We tell it to show the interim results, which shows it doesn't. The way the web speech API works is that, as you're saying, it is processing it. So you might be saying something and then it figures out, oh, it turns out you mean something else, and it changes the code. So it's fun. I like it. So we'll show the interim results, set the language to English, Great Britain. We'll create an HTML element to spit it out, have an event listener where as soon as you got something, tell me, and I'll just get the transcript and show it. And this is very, very fun. It's not fun. Majority of the browsers have realized, oh, hang on, if someone opens their browser and it's doing the speech recognition, they just leave for the day. You are constantly capturing data and consuming energy on our servers and our data, and you're just using us. So they figure out that, oh, let's just stop it then. It's after a few seconds, we'll just stop the recognition altogether. But we have a way to cheat it. So as soon as we have an add event listener, oh, once you end, we'll start again. You're not getting away with it. You're going to listen to me whether you like it or not. So this is a trick. And on mobile, if you actually are testing on a mobile phone, it's quite frustrating because you will hear a little notification sound that says, it doesn't say anything. It's just a sound of turning the microphone on and off, and it's really frustrating. So let's just stick to the desktop version for now. We'll ignore it. We're exploring the potential anyways. It's not a done deal. We'll add our lyrics in a similar fashion to how subtitles would work. We'll have our text that starts at 5 seconds and ends at 11.2 seconds. And we are defining where the lyrics should turn up during the song. And what will be the logic? OK, so when the speech recognition is initiated, the song will also start. And we'll check if the current time falls between the start and the end of that lyric line. If yes, let's add a class showing that is the current lyric line. In this case, I picked a yellow animation, which translates to something more or less like this. Nowadays, because we sort of abused this during the MySpace days where we would have autoplay music, the browsers are no, you have to actually have interaction to play audio. So we have an event listener that starts, it clicks, the recognition starts, our music play, and then on time update, which is something that the browser gives you, oh, this audio right now is at 5 seconds, for example, it picks up on each lyric, checks the current time, the song line start, and does the check we mentioned before, and if so, adds the classes that we want or not. And then a lot of frustrating things happen. If the current time is bigger than the end time of the lyric line, we'll add a class that marks that as the past. And then we'll move on to the next line. Okay, this is the line in progress, this is the line in the past. And once that line is in the past, we'll do some checks. Let's compare each word. I thought, well, if we're going to gamify it, we got to check if everything that I'm saying matches what it is expecting me to say. So it picks up the transcription, goes word by word, and it adds styling based if it's a match or no match, and it inserts it in the HTML in the view that we see. And we also do partial matches, but that's a lot more complicated. But I'll make it simple. Right, so let's go for our demo, which it's a bit of anything can happen. As we were having some tech issues, I was the embodiment of tech issues. Which one do you think it is? This one, all right. So this is a USB-C, so let's plug in.
I think like it might not work without the rest.
Oh, it's fine. Oh, God. Oh, no.
Should we try that? Do you have any?
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, no.
No. Oh, goodness. Oh, okay, hang on. Oh, God. Let's do a refresh because I'm not confident. A hardcore refresh, please. All right. So, I want you to know that I'm not cheating. So, I want you all to see that what I'm saying is actually appearing here as I say it. So, this is not like cheating. So, the live stream API works. Look at this. Yeah, it turns up. Not perfect, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll get there. We saw this. We all believe me. So, let's go for a little demo. You'll be amazed how I am stressed right now. So if we do a hardcore refresh like you mean it as I say it, I'm going to show you that what I'm saying should ideally be gamified and match what the song is expected. Unfortunately, I obviously would have used the Erasmus song, but copyright doesn't let me, so Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is the best I could come up with without being sued. That said, my audio is not working. Oh no. It's okay, technical issues. The audio is not working and it's not the end of the world. Is the HDMI cable enough to do the audio bit?
I'm wondering if this one would help.
Bear with me, everyone. Because it was working before, but it's not the end of the world. There's worse things in the world right now.
Do you want to try it as well?
No, this one is just a clicker.
No, yeah.
Right. It's okay. We'll go through it. So, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So it means my CSS should guide me through, assuming it works. Hey! How I wonder what you are. And it's going to be wrong, because I've been saying stuff. Oh, yeah, here we go. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are. Right, this worked. We didn't have sound, but we'll just imagine it. It wasn't that big of a deal. I'm so glad you all clapped right now because I'm going to sing next, and that's like really bad. So as you can see, if I say the words it expects, it will mark, okay, that's what I'm expecting. Yes, okay, mark as green. And if it picks up, if it does a partial match, it does highlight that thing, it does work. I see how he works with singing, and I'm so sorry. I'm so glad we're going to a break after, and I suppose there's still drinks outside. We're not going to forget about this. It's being filmed, but we can edit it out. I feel like a TikToker with this. I'm sorry. All right. So, if we do a hardcore refresh to stop it. Okay, let's start again, and we'll see what happens if we do the exact same experience but singing. I don't know anything about singing or music, but sometimes the words sound more connected, and that may alter the experience. So pretend you're listening to audio. Okay. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Hey, I won my own game. Funny enough, in different demos that I've done, and this is actually on YouTube, some of them, when I say like a diamond in the sky, sometimes the web speech API thinks that I say Michael, and those things happen. It's like it picks up something, but maybe I sang this thing so many times that Google's like, oh, I learned from you. Well done, woo! Right, let's do a switcheroo. So I'm sorry, everyone, we didn't have audio, which would have added a bit more to the experience, but these things happen. It's not the end of the world. Oh, God. Hey. We are in ReactJS, girls, so what about React? Actually, initiating the API would be very similar, because it is a browser API rather than framework-related. But if you want to spin a very, very quick example, it wouldn't look too dissimilar to this. You would import React, you would have return your HTML, whatever you wanted to do. You have a button that starts listening, and it picks up the transcript results and can put them into your view. It's not too dissimilar to using Vanilla.js, which is what I did. But with React, you probably can import like really fun transitions or do other things that is a bit more, it's about a lot more labor in a vanilla JavaScript. So what is the verdict? It's okay for small voice notice. The other thing I noticed is that there's no punctuation, and if I insert, I'm Portuguese, so if I say a Portuguese word in the middle, or even my own last name, it just like, no. It doesn't deal with it very well. My demo went so well, I'm so glad for myself, but usually my demo does not go well, so it's usually not perfect for singing. It's usually not perfect for singing, and it's unlikely to be okay for rap. And the reason why I bring this up is that I'm not the first person to experiment with this API. A lot of people have been doing incredibly fun experiments with it, and one of them is Tony Edwards, who did a fantastic talk called Beats, Rhymes, and Unit Tests, where they experiment if they could jot down the rhymes that they've been working on, and unlike today, which was perfect, they also noted that it does have, it's not perfect, but it is a good experiment to have. We can also see this example by Stephanie Eccles, where they built a web speech API for the 12 days of web dev, which is like a fun project they have with different exercises leading to Christmas time, and they built a Santa chat for it. And Wesbos also has a chapter on the native speech recognition on their free JavaScript course. It's a fantastic course for free, so people should definitely check it out. There's also plenty of other projects. The Web Captioner was a fantastic project that was quite popular during the pandemic to provide captions based on this technology. Has been sunset since. However, the code is available on GitHub if you want to learn more. And there's also so many polyfills WebRTC projects. That stuff I have no clue about, but I thought I should bring it up because it's also, you know, oh yeah, AWS, here they are. It's an AWS polyfill. And they also provide their own services on speech recognition. After all this, what's next? I don't know. like I said, I don't work for browser vendors, but I would like to see these. I love these type of APIs. I love that we can experiment in the browser, especially for free. And the other reason why I bring this up is that you can contribute, even if things, for example, like I mentioned, it's not available currently right now in Firefox, but you can contribute to other projects that probably have a similar nature. There's a Common Voice project where you can donate your voice, or you can actually listen to voices and test and contribute to the community like that. It's very important so that different accents so that we can train on different accents and different voices, and it's a very, very important diversity aspect of the community. And this is to highlight the Web Speech API sibling, this speech synthesis. Leonie Watson made a fantastic talk on a call to action to improve voice interfaces and CSS speech. It's a fantastic talk, it's really enlightening, and this is what meetups and conferences are for, is to highlight what developers think that, not just developers, like what the community thinks it needs, and we all have a voice in it. So, the real question is, are you going to use the Web Speech API at work? Probably not. But it doesn't matter, in my opinion, because look at what we did. We have one working demo. We experiment with a browser API and HTML media element. I wrote lots of JavaScript. I had content for a talk. I experimented with CSS animations, and I read it and had to try to understand API specifications, which is stuff I don't normally do in my daily job. I wrote more JavaScript for this than I do in my daily job. And why does this matter? Because you can learn by building useless things. I would have not have played with this thing at all if I was just sticking to what I had to do in my daily job. Your project doesn't have to be an NPM package. It doesn't have to be an open source package. It doesn't have to be something you monetize it. You can have fun by building something that you deem useless. And only recently I gave myself permission not to build productive things after work. So if there's a takeaway from this, is that I'll see you all at the next tour. And please build. Your ideas are not useless. Whatever they are, just build them. Have fun. That's what the web is for, and that's what the community is here for. Thank you. Oh, yes, of course. Have the highlight for me.
Exactly. Amazing.
Exactly. Should I leave this here? Or? Yeah.
Yeah, just leave it. Yeah, it's okay. That was really fun, and I hope reminded you all to keep having fun with technology, because I know it's the day job and can get a little bit much. But yeah, fantastic talk. So I had a couple of questions myself.
Oh,
think of your own questions, if any of you are burning. But first I'll tell you a brief embarrassing story, which
oh, I love those.
was just that, so one thing that this reminded me of is that it's really easy to forget about the web APIs as a React developer. Like, I work in React all day. It's kind of like a tiny bubble within a bigger bubble, and you can forget about all these free APIs that have already been built. And I once spent, it was at least 2 days, trying to figure out from scratch how to build a form that could upload, it could accept like a PDF as an input, before I remembered eventually that the file system API has already been built before.
Exactly.
And you just need to get back into JavaScript sometimes and out of React. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a really good reminder. And related to that, I was wondering, are there any other web APIs that you think deserve a special mention that you've used before?
I feel like we haven't, and this is probably a controversial take, I feel we haven't used Canvas enough.
Used what?
Canvas.
Canvas.
Canvas HTML element.
That's very true.
I've experimented with it to use the Canvas element as a fake Photoshop to reproduce. Anyone could upload their own photo, and it would apply this visual effects of the style of the album of one of my favorite. Yeah, I like bands. I don't know why. So I built a tool basically that online anybody could upload their photo, and it would literally apply the exact same styling as the album cover of this artist in particular. And that's exactly what people do. They don't have Photoshop. They are not going to pay for licenses. And I think it's an underutilized HTML element.
Nice one. Yeah, maybe your next talk.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, so has anyone here used the web speech API yet? You have?
Yeah.
Do you have any stories you want to share?
I used it quite a long time ago.
I've put you on the spot here, so thank you.
Yeah, I used it about 5 years ago at uni. I was doing my digital journalism masters, which obviously had like 2 or 3 coding modules that I kind of just thought, probably I won't like them. And during a module for critical social media practices, where I wrote an essay about kind of like safety and security in the home and like technologies that we used, I built my own AI assistant called Alex, which obviously has no vague similarity to any other AI and vocal assistant, that was like pandemic themed. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, spent a lot of time like thinking about like security measures and stuff like that too. But yeah, a long time ago. So it was nice to see it again, to be honest.
Oh, great. Thank you for sharing.
Nice, yeah, it's another good use for it. Yeah. I really like that you use DuckDuckGo, by the way. Security is clearly an important factor. So do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing to give like the audio data to the web browsers?
If you're consenting, like I have consented, I do appreciate that the Safari's warning is quite clear and on what they're doing with your data. So if browsers do that, I think people can make their own decisions.
Yeah.
The same way the Common Voice project, it's somewhere where people donate their voice, and I think that's great. I think if people are deliberately given permissions, I think that's absolutely fine. I think it's important that people have options that are not just private companies. I can change my mind tomorrow. As of today, that's my opinion.
Yeah. No, I mean, sometimes I accept cookies because I am shopping for something and I want them to just give me adverts for it later down the line.
As long as an informed consent, I'm fine with that. Oh, fun fact, I was like, I said a few bad words while practicing my talk, and it came out with censored them.
Wow.
And I was like, oh.
Child friendly.
Oh. So that was interesting. That was
Doesn't just always autocorrect it to duck then?
No. It just like put the first letter and then a couple of dots, and I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you.
That's cool. Yeah. And doing it in real time as well. So yeah, really impressive API. And I didn't do the AI thing as well. So yeah, I hope that you guys can also check out Anna's previous talk, which is on building personal websites.
Yes, yes, exactly. I gave a talk at RJSG Girls pre-pandemic. I don't have memories of anything pre-pandemic, but it's about creating your own blog, which is obviously as an indie web person, I'm very keen on motivating people to create their own personal websites and their own blogs. And it's quite an oldie, but you know.
A Goldie. Like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I'm gonna have that in my head all night. So yeah, please give Anna a big round of applause.
Thank you.